Hello, welcome to my 17-week pregnancy update video. So I posted on Instagram questions for people and many of you responded. So I'm just going to tell you all kinds of stuff about this pregnancy. And something you can know about me is that I am not very confident making mom videos. So this is not my most favorite situation to be in, but I'm doing it because there are a lot of you moms out there who want to watch stuff like this, and so I'd love to share my experience with you. So I'm 17 weeks, second trimester, pregnant with a boy. I'm due July 2nd. First trimester, I really didn't like at all. Actually, I hated it. I'm sorry. With Eloise, I didn't like it that much either, but it was like exciting because it's pregnancy and you're just like, I don't know, everything's cool. This time around, I was in the middle of moving. Eloise was sick. I was sick, like from being pregnant, so I was vomiting. I feel like almost every night I would throw up once. I also had the flu. It just was not my favorite. And so I was thankful to be pregnant, of course, but also it just was not very fun. Second trimester, usually in my experience and friends, is way better. So I'm in second trimester. I've got a lot more energy, not so tired, not so sick. During my first trimester, I didn't like coffee. I liked iced coffee, but the thought of coffee, the smell of coffee, none of it really did anything for me. And I love coffee normally, so that was weird. Also, I hated my tattoos. I would stay up in the middle of the night Googling how to remove them. I cried about them. But I would wear long sleeves and not look at them. And in the shower, I would purposely avoid making eye contact with my tattoos. This tattoo does kind of have eyes, so I could make eye contact with her, but I chose not to. So second trimester, I like my tattoos more, and I'm really grateful because I have quite a few, and if I was gonna get them removed, that would be pretty expensive and time consuming. Did not like vegetables during my first trimester, and I am a vegetable loving person. My mom said I was a really easy kid and I would eat fruit and vegetables for fun. When she would ask me what my favorite food was, I would say fruit salad. My first trimester, I wouldn't eat vegetables at all. I just didn't like them. People want to know what Eloise thought about me being pregnant. She was excited that I was pregnant in the beginning. She didn't believe it because she didn't understand why my stomach wasn't big. And our friend Anna was pregnant in Barcelona and she was full term, so her belly's out here, and we're like, there's a baby in there, and then we point to mine and be like, and there's a baby in here. And Eloise was not having that. She's smart. She also would cry whenever we suggested that the baby could be a boy. She only wanted a sister. Even at night when I would pray for the baby and I'd be like, and God, please help grow this little brother or sister, she would interrupt me and start crying and say like, why are you telling God it's a boy? It's supposed to be a girl. So that was rough. She kind of overcame that when our friends Becca and Tia Lisette told her that little sisters steal clothes and little brothers don't. And after that, Eloise came to me and said, Mom, it's okay if I have a brother. You want to know how I found out that I was pregnant? So last time when I found out I was pregnant with Eloise, I found out in a Panera Bread bathroom. I wrote a great blog about it. It really is cute. You can Google it. So this time around, I felt like maybe I was pregnant, but also I was pretty sick and I was about to go to San Francisco on a trip to see a bunch of my friends. And I was walking to the mall and I just was overcome with this idea of like, why don't I stop at the pharmacy and grab a pregnancy test just to have it on hand? Okay, we had been trying to get pregnant in like August time. And then after that, in my mind, I just had it settled that we would try again when we got to America because I didn't really want to be pregnant while moving. For me, the pregnancy felt a little bit like a surprise, but for Sean, he was like, well, weren't we kind of like ready? Weren't we trying? I'm walking to a skate park to meet Sean and Eloise. I walk by a pharmacy, decide, this is in Barcelona, decide I should grab a pregnancy test. So then I walked by the mall and I was like, I should just go take the pregnancy test in the mall bathroom, why not? Took the pregnancy test, it was positive. I cried. The thing is, I was excited and scared. And a lot of change had been happening. Okay, between me and you, I went through a lot in the last year and a half, a lot of transitions and changes. And so even though I'm really excited to have a baby, it also just made me really nervous that like, oh my gosh, now we're in the middle of moving and I'm gonna get back to California and I'm gonna have a new baby. And I remember when I moved to Barcelona and I got really depressed, I felt like the depression happened to me. It felt like out of my control. Like I did everything I could possibly do and it still stayed with me. And so I just had this fear of like, oh my gosh, what if I get pregnant and have this baby and then I'm depressed and I can't like fix it. But I also went to H&M and bought a pair of little baby socks, teeny tiny socks, that said, I heart dad. And then I bought Eloise a little stuffed animal and I went to meet them. I walked up to Eloise and I was like, hey Eloise, I got you this little deer because you're gonna be a big sister. And she was like, I'm gonna be a big sister? Thanks, Mom. But mostly she was excited for the stuffed animal. And then she went over to Shaun and gave him the socks and said, I'm gonna be a big sister. And Shaun was like, wait, what? And very excited. And then how I found out it was a boy was actually 2 weeks ago. We went to get my first doctor's appointment done and they decided to do an ultrasound because I already was 15 weeks along and they just wanted to make sure the baby was healthy. And while she was doing it, I guess she saw his nether regions and she was like, do you want to know the gender? And I said, yeah. Okay, with Eloise we did a gender reveal party. But I didn't want to do that this time because I was afraid Eloise was gonna cry if it was a boy. And so I wanted to like prepare her first and then we could tell everyone else in a more fun way. So Eloise was in the room. The lady asked Eloise, do you want to have a brother or a sister? And she's like, I want to have a sister. And so, yeah, so then the lady said, well, it's a brother. Eloise immediately said, that's okay with me because a brother won't steal my clothes. So whatever it takes. Now she's excited to have a boy. We do have a boy's name picked out already. We do not have a girl's name. So, oh, because I found out it was a boy early. So I guess it could be a girl. We could find out. I don't know. If it's a girl, guys, this will be fun. I asked Eloise if she has any ideas what she wants to name her baby sister. This was before we knew it was a brother. And because we already had the boy's name, so she knows that. Don't ask her. The girl's name. And she was sitting so seriously and she's like, well, we can't name her Eloise because that's my name. And we can't name her Loie because that's my cousin. So I guess we just have to name her Flowery. And she's completely serious. And we're like, I don't know if we're gonna name her Flowery. And she's like, we are. And so ever since then, that was probably when I was like 8 or 9 weeks pregnant, she has been calling her future little sister Flowery. And so even though she's happy this is a boy, she's already talking about when I will have her sister named Flowery. If anyone needs me to adopt their baby, I'll do it. Second trimester. I'm in my second trimester. It's way better. I did have the flu though. I guess pregnant people get the flu and they keep it around for a long time. The last week or 2 weeks ago, Eloise and I both had the flu at the same time and I was reading on the trusty internet about the flu and it said pregnant people, children under 5, and people over 65 get the flu a lot and keep it for a long time. With Eloise, I really wanted big fat burgers, like the biggest, not like fast food. I want like real burgers with all the toppings and avocado and the grilled onions, and I wanted them all the time. And I wanted sour candy and I would keep little sour candies in my purse. This pregnancy, I also want sour candy all the time. Exhibit A. Yeah. Exhibit B. It's just, there's something about it. It's delightful, really delicious. When you're nauseous, it just like settles your tummy. Also lemon water, that does it. Lemon water is good if you have nausea. During Eloise's pregnancy, I wanted oranges all the time. Pickles. I don't want pickles all the time with this baby, not with Eloise, but this one. And olives, but then I read that you can't have too many salty things, so I've been trying to refrain from that. Also, Eloise is really concerned about my candy intake. I don't eat that much candy, but Eloise came to me one time and was like, Mom, is there, she must have seen a video, she's like, is there a cord between you and the baby and that's how the baby gets its food? I was like, yeah. And she said, you can't eat candy. So sometimes she'll say I can have 1 piece of candy a day. Oh, I also like red meat this pregnancy, and difference between last one and this one, I'm growing way faster. Maybe because I'm eating candy and not enough vegetables. My tummy's bigger. So far, I don't have stretch marks. I didn't get stretch marks with Eloise. I don't know why. I don't have any like secrets. I put oil and stuff, but lots of people do that and they still get them. So I'm not sure. I read that if you drink a lot of water and put oils and things, then maybe it'll help. I do get like these kind of, what are they called? Like moles. And I know with Eloise's pregnancy, I had more than before. So maybe I'll get more. But I look like this. My little belly button sticking out. And I feel like the baby is just like lower than Eloise was. And I'm starting to feel him move around, which is pretty cute. I can't wait till other people can feel him move because I love that part. Also, my precious parts, they're bigger. And I'm so happy about that. It's so fun. I've lived my whole life without these things. And so you can just imagine the gift that it is. I mean, at the same time, I'm getting a belly, so whatever, but I'm very excited. Some of you asked, am I scared of having a boy? Or like, was I nervous about finding out as a boy? For sure, totally. I have a sister, I have lesbian moms, I have a lot of best friends. I used to lead a ministry for women. I have a daughter. My sister has a daughter. So even though I have a lot of men in my life too who are really great and I love them, I'm certainly more comfortable with girls. But I'm so excited. And like, we need this boy. We need him. This is important for the family and important for me and important for Eloise. And Shaun needs to be a dad of a boy. I just know that. And so as nervous as I am, I'm also really excited and really thankful. Somebody asked, what was I nervous about with Eloise that I'm not nervous about with this baby? And I think it's like just the general baby stuff. Like with Eloise, I really didn't know how to change a diaper. I didn't know how to swaddle a baby. I was nervous to figure out how to nurse a baby. Just all the like baby stuff. I don't know how to buckle a car seat. I don't really know how to push a stroller through a door. I mean, I sound really weird, but that's totally true. So with this baby, I have tons of stuff I'm nervous about, but the like general baby things, I feel like I kind of know what I'm doing and it hopefully won't be as intimidating. Some things I am nervous for, well, this is regardless of the gender of the baby, I am definitely nervous about miscarrying. And that's something that starts like the moment you find out you're pregnant. I don't know if everyone experiences that, but just this feeling of like, how excited do I get? And I have friends who have miscarried at this time, right now where I'm at. They've miscarried after me. And so it's just this weird feeling of like, I want to be really excited. I want to plan ahead. But also I want to protect my heart. And like, what if this one goes to heaven? And I don't know. So I get nervous about that. And I'm also sensitive to friends who have miscarried and I'm pregnant, and I just feel for them. And it's like a weird thing of like, I want to be excited, but I also want to just hug them and be like, let's ignore it. Let's ignore all of this and just try and like be okay. And I know it doesn't really work like that, but so that's something. And then I also get nervous about my body changing, because it's like when you're a teenager and your body matures and you don't get to choose how it's going to mature and like what size your boobs are going to be and like how tall you're going to be and what your hips are going to look like. That's pregnancy. You don't get to choose it. You can be as healthy as you can be, and like I joke about all the candy and stuff, but like I eat pretty healthy and I exercise every day, but I don't really get to choose the shape that my body takes. And I think the shape this time around is different from Eloise. Like I feel like my belly is sitting differently. She was much more like a basketball and like a little bit higher, and I feel like this baby is a little lower. Yeah, I don't know. So I just get nervous about that and sometimes insecure. And my skin is super dry this time around, and it wasn't like that before. How did I know I was mentally ready for a second baby? I didn't really. Actually, I felt more mentally ready for a second baby before I moved to Spain, to be honest. I remember even watching update videos of Eloise and being like, oh, I could have another baby. And it's just mostly because I was already in baby zone. So I'm like, why not add another one? I'm also the type of person who would be really stoked about twins, because I just like getting it all done in the same moment and like being totally overwhelmed, but all at once, and then you got little best friends. So I think the older Eloise got and the longer we went without getting pregnant, the less ready I felt. But I know that I don't want Eloise to be an only child, and I know that moving back to California and having another kid is really important. And so yeah, so I think I didn't feel like totally mentally ready, but I was just like, okay, we should really try and make this happen and see if God will give us another baby. Will I approach labor and delivery same as Eloise? I've made videos about this, you can watch if you don't know, but I had Eloise naturally without an epidural, no medicine. And yeah, I would like to try to do that again. I'm not against an epidural. It's just, I'm a little bit afraid of it. I'm a little afraid of a lot of things. So yeah, I would like to go into it. I'm gonna have Gina Gleason again, who's like my mom here in California, and she's gonna be there in the room with me again, like she was with Eloise, and she is like a birth coach type person. I don't know if she's technically that, but she coaches people when they're having natural labor. So she's gonna help me, and we'll see. Fears I've overcome by being pregnant once. Well, I think just doing it all once through, I have in my mind how it's gonna go, so then it's just less intimidating all around, because all the uncertainties, they're not as uncertain. But I will say labor feels more scary this time because I totally know what to expect. I mean, obviously it could be very different, but I remember how bad it hurt the first time around. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. So I felt like that was easier to not be afraid of. But generally, I don't feel as scared this time about everything. 2 more questions. How are you juggling life, work, family, etc., moving to LA? Daily, trying to figure it out. We have friends that we live with here, and now we have a good friend who's moved in with us who's nannying Eloise, and that has been like life-changing because then I have a chunk of time during the day that's just mine, so I can get organized. I bought a planner because I was feeling really stressed and jumbled. Shaun and I planned a date day. We're gonna do a date lunch once a week. So I think that will help prioritize marriage. It's just easy for that to become secondary. And so we're trying to make that a priority again. Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out times to have quality time with Eloise and not get too stressed at her. I love her, she's so great, but it's easy for me to get tired and stressed and her to get toddlery and whiny and needy. And so we're kind of figuring all of that out. I don't have a clear work-life rhythm right now, but we're getting there. And then last question was, how am I preparing Eloise for being a big sister and like having a family of 4 was the question, I believe. And I'll answer that more as we go because I'm kind of figuring it out. But from the very beginning, I've included her in this process and like really, I mean, I talk about it a lot and my friends talk to her about it. And the nice thing is, some of my closest friends here, I mean, we live with close friends here, and they're nannies and they have experience with young kids who have become siblings. So I'm not alone in this. We're gonna have the kids share a room, and so she's gonna be a part of like making the room cool, and we already asked her questions. She's like very big sistery already, like already picking his favorite color and like what he's gonna want his part of the room to look like. So as much as we can include her in it, I think the better. And she talks to the baby a lot, and we pray for the baby every day together. So yeah, so we're trying. If you guys have any tips, then let me know. That's all. Thanks so much for watching. If you have more questions, let me know. Leave comments if you have questions or more things you want me to talk about, and I'll see you next week. Bye.